I've always had bad luck with guys, but online I was a queen. It started innocently enough, just some late-night gaming to blow off stress. I toggled on the Find Nearby Players feature during a ranked match. And boom, there he was, King of Valor, eh? His profile pic, just a default avatar. His in-game skills, ridiculously good. We teamed up. We won. We laughed. And then we kept playing, night after night. And before I knew it, I was in an online relationship with a guy I'd never met. He was sweet, low-key, funny, and weirdly protective, like the type to send me goodnight texts and spam me with cat stickers when I was feeling down. We never talked about real names, never exchanged photos. It was like having a secret little world no one could touch, until the real world crashed into it. "Hey, Haley," Nina, my best friend, whispered during lunch, mouth half full of fries. "Did you hear about the new private tutor for Liam Quinn?" I looked up from my phone. "Ryan's little brother." "Yep. Guess who the tutor is?" She grinned. "You, I guessed. Please." I flunked chemistry twice. "No, it's you." "Dummy." I blinked. "What, I signed you up," she said proudly. "Mrs. Quinn asked around for someone who's not a weirdo. I may be bad at school, but I have taste." "Thanks," I muttered, unsure whether I should be honored or horrified. That afternoon, I showed up at the Quinn's mansion, yes. Mansion clutching my textbook like a lifeline. Their gate alone looked more expensive than my entire house. Liam opened the door, all big-eyed and excited. "Hi, Miss Haley. Are you my tutor?" I smiled. "Only if you promise not to call me Miss, just Haley. Inside." The place smelled like fresh roses and rich people. We sat down in the sunroom, and I began explaining fractions. He was quick, smarter than he let on. Polite, too, but then I felt someone watching me. I turned, and there he was. Ryan Quinn, the guy every girl in school crushed on, leaning against the doorframe like a Calvin Klein model, scrolling on his phone like he owned time itself, which, to be fair, he probably did. "Don't get distracted," he said without looking up. "You're here to teach my brother, not flirt." "Excuse me," I straightened. "I'm not flirting. I'm teaching." "Sure," he muttered. "Tell your phone that." I wanted to throw a pencil at his stupid perfect face. And then my phone buzzed. A text? From him. "Babe, why aren't you replying? I miss you." I stared. Wait. This was a joke, right? No. That was his sticker. That was his tone. I slowly looked up at Ryan. No freaking way. I froze. Like literally froze. Ryan Quinn. The guy who looked at me like I was a stain on his designer rug was my boyfriend. The sweet, clingy, emoji spamming guy I'd been texting for 2 months was Ryan. Freaking Quinn Liam, I said, trying not to scream. "Can we take a quick break?" "Sure," the kid chirped, already pulling up his game. I walked out like a robot, phone clenched in my hand, and ducked into the hallway. I scrolled. The messages were all there. "Babe, that tutor teaching my little brother is super annoying. I'm telling you." She keeps glancing at her phone like she's more interested in texting someone than teaching. Should I scold her? I kind of want to. Oh, my God. He was complaining about me to me. This couldn't be real. Maybe I was hallucinating. Maybe someone hacked my boyfriend's account. Or maybe God just had a twisted sense of humor. Whatever it was, I needed to abort mission. But just as I was about to ghost him forever and block his number, another text came in. "Babe, when do we finally meet? I swear. I won't disappoint you." I stared at the screen like it had just slapped me. He wanted to meet after insulting me to my face, after passive-aggressively sabotaging my tutoring job. Nope. I whispered to myself. Nope. Back in the living room. Mrs. Quinn appeared like a fairy godmother in a Chanel blouse. "It's late, dear," she said sweetly. "Why don't you stay the night? You can go to school with Ryan in the morning. I smiled politely. Oh, I can't. I have to visit my mom in the hospital tonight. Mrs. Quinn's face fell. Oh, no. Let Ryan drive you. Then, it's safer. I'm okay. Really, Ryan? She called. Drive Haley to the hospital. Now, Ryan, who had just emerged from the kitchen holding a protein shake like a weapon, sighed. Seriously, she's a guest. Be a gentleman. He grumbled, grabbed his keys, and stormed out. I followed, silently wishing the earth would swallow me whole. His car. A Ferrari, I repeat, a freaking Ferrari. He clicked the unlock button. The headlights blinked, and I got in like I was stepping into someone else's dream. We drove in silence, except it wasn't really silent, because my phone buzzed. Another text. Babe, want to meet tonight? Pretty please, just for a second. I looked sideways. Ryan's left hand was on the wheel, his right hand sneaking a glance at his phone. I nearly choked on my own disbelief. He was literally texting me while I sat next to him. This was beyond a love triangle. This was a psychological thriller. I finally replied. Some jerk scolded me today. I'm too annoyed to talk. 3 seconds later, a reply. Who dared to scold my babe, I'll fight him. I glanced at Ryan. He had the nerve to look smug, like he knew something I didn't. My blood pressure spiked. I'm not meeting anyone. I look awful anyway. You're always pretty to me. He wrote back. I turned my phone off. This was madness. When we arrived at the hospital, he parked without a word. I muttered, thanks, and reached for the door handle. But his voice stopped me. Wait, I turned, expecting him to throw another cold jab. Instead, he held something out. A skewer of lamb sat in his hand warm, wrapped in foil. Your dinner, he said, eyes looking anywhere but at me. In case you forgot to eat. Again. I blinked. How do you know I skipped dinner? He didn't answer, just stared ahead, jaw tight. Ryan, did you follow me last time? Still silence. That's when it hit me. The weird timing, the way he just happened to show up when I was in trouble. The countless messages like, if someone bullies you, tell me. The tiny things I thought were sweet now felt borderline scary. Did you know it was me all along? I asked, barely above a whisper. Ryan finally looked at me. His expression was unreadable, but his ears, yeah, they were red. Bright red. No, he said. I figured it out when you scolded Liam the same way you yell at me in game. My stomach dropped. He did know. All this time. I thought you hated me, I did. He cut in. But online? I didn't. That didn't make sense. You called me annoying. In person. He shrugged. You were. Then why date me online? Because online, you were different. I was the same person. Ryan ran a hand through his perfect hair. Clearly frustrated. Fine. Whatever. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't know it was you at first. But now I do. So, he paused. So, what I asked. So I don't want to stop. That shut me up. When I got home that night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, rereading all our texts, laughing, venting, teasing, flirting. It was him. The same dumb guy who sat across the dinner table every week acting like I was background noise. Now he was this. Sweet. Awkward. A little possessive. But real. The next morning at school, the drama gods decided to spice things up. There, in front of the main gate, stood Tiffany Chu, holding a cake so expensive it probably had its own bank account. She was surrounded by girls holding their phones like paparazzi. Today's Ryan Quinn's birthday. Nina whispered beside me. She's gonna confess. Why at the gate, I asked. Because humiliation tastes best when served publicly. Right on cue. Tiffany stepped forward. Ryan got out of his car, looking like he just walked off a fashion ad. She handed him the cake with a trembling smile. "Happy birthday, Ryan." He looked at her and just walked past. Didn't say a word, didn't take the cake, didn't even flinch. She froze like a rejected Disney villain. And then he kept walking, straight toward me. I panicked. Was he gonna expose me? Say something cryptic and ruin everything, but instead, he stopped just a foot away, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Come over for lunch, don't be late." Then he walked off, like it was nothing, like I wasn't currently imploding inside. My heart was racing. My brain was fried. Nina was gaping beside me like a goldfish. "Haley," she whispered. "Are you dating Ryan Quinn?" I opened my mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I think I might be. Let me explain something real quick. There are bad days, and then there are oops. I might be falling for my enemy days. The latter. Yeah, that was me. Every single hour. After Ryan casually dropped that bomb in front of the entire school, come over for lunch. Don't be late. Like we were married or something, I became public enemy number 1. Girls were whispering, side-eyeing, and straight up stalking me in the hallways. Tiffany Chushi looked like she was ready to throw cake at my head. I didn't even do anything. Okay, fine. I might be his online girlfriend. And I might have ghosted him for 3 days after realizing it. And yeah, I might be the girl who once called him a frozen salmon with too much money during an online voice chat. But in my defense, he was acting like one. Lunch at the Quinn mansion was weird. Not because of the food, it was amazing. Not because of Liam, he was a cinnamon roll as usual. No, it was weird because Ryan kept staring at me. Not glaring, not smirking, just watching. Every time I passed the salt. Every time I chewed, every time I breathed. Finally, Mrs. Quinn leaned over with a smile. "Haley, dear, I was thinking, how about you stay for both lunch and dinner sessions from now on? I have other tutoring jobs." I lied. Badly. "I'll double your pay." I blinked. Double even. Ryan looked up. I cleared my throat. "I guess I can check my schedule." "Wonderful," she beamed. "And since it's getting dark early, Ryan can drive you home? Every day." My fork dropped. Ryan, every day, my piece was officially over. That evening. Ryan pulled up in front of my apartment in his bright red Ferrari like a freaking action movie poster. I stood there holding a tote bag and leftover worksheets, feeling like the world's most underdressed extra. He rolled down the window. "Get in." I blinked. "You could say hi first." "Hi." "Get in." Charming. I slid into the passenger seat. The leather smelled like money and arrogance. As he pulled into traffic, I noticed him glancing at me. Not subtly, what I asked. Defensive. He shrugged. "Did you eat today? Is that your way of flirting?" He snorted. "No, that's my way of making sure you don't pass out in my car again." Fair. Back at the Quinns. I headed straight for Liam's room, my sanctuary, but not today, because as soon as I knocked, Ryan opened his door. "I need help," with what I asked, eyeing him suspiciously. He held up a bowl. "Can't eat with one arm." I blinked. "You want me to feed you?" "It's either you or my mom." Touché. So that's how I ended up spoon-feeding the school's coldest heartthrob while pretending I wasn't silently losing my mind. He didn't say much, just stared at me with those annoyingly unreadable eyes. "Why are you looking at me like that?" I asked. "You chew loud. I'm not even eating. You breathe loud then." "I'm literally helping you exactly. And I'm grateful," he muttered, cheeks pink. Wait. Was Ryan Quinn, blushing, I nearly dropped the spoon, outside the door. Liam poked his head in. "Is this a date?" "Should I leave Liam?" We both snapped at the same time. He disappeared, giggling like a gremlin. Later that night, I was curled up in bed, Texting him. Well, texting Ryan, but pretending it wasn't weird. Me. Hey, did you know I was your tutor before you figured it out? Ryan. No, but once I did. I didn't want to stop. Me, why? Ryan. Because you were the only person who didn't like me from my car. I stared at the screen. This guy, with his $300 haircut and $3 million attitude, was soft. Actually, soft, before I could reply. Another message popped up. Ryan, want to play around before bed? Me? Only if you promise not to steal my kills again. Ryan, can't promise that. Me, then I'm not reviving you? Ryan, fair. I smiled like an idiot, next morning at school. Not so cute, because as I walked past the gates, Tiffany Chu was waiting, arms crossed, lip gloss on, danger mode activated. You think this is over? She hissed. I blinked. Excuse me. You embarrassed me in front of the whole school. You think Ryan actually likes you? I didn't do anything. She stepped closer, voice lower. We'll see how long you last. And then she turned and walked away like a discount movie villain. Great. I hadn't even passed first period and I already had a new enemy arc. By lunchtime. The rumors had started. That I was using Liam to get close to Ryan. That I seduced him. That I bribed Mrs. Quinn. Typical. People love a good scandal, especially when it's not theirs. I tried to brush it off. But then, as I was walking to the courtyard, a girl from class purposely knocked my books to the floor. Oh, sorry, she said, smiling way too wide, before I could say anything. A hand reached down and grabbed my notebook. Ryan. He looked at her. Just looked. She turned pale and ran off. Then he handed me the notebook. I told you, he said softly. You're not alone anymore. And just like that, the rumors didn't matter. Being hated by the entire school, not fun. Being hated by Tiffany Chu. A full-time job with zero benefits. She didn't just glare in the hallway or whisper behind my back. She mobilized people. Mean girls, wannabe influencers. Even the shy kid from physics who suddenly started shoving my books by accident. I was officially the villain in someone else's story. Ryan tried to help. He'd walk me to class, show up at my locker like a bodyguard. But the stares didn't stop. The whispers didn't stop. And worst of all, the guilt didn't stop. I wasn't even supposed to be his girlfriend. It was a game, a joke, a mistake that got way too real. Then one afternoon, Nina texted. Nina. Hey girl, get to karaoke room 7. Got something juicy. I raised an eyebrow. Nina was the type to get distracted by a cute guy at a vending machine. So something juicy could mean literally anything. Still, I was free. Liam had finished his homework, and Ryan was locked in his room watching some boring finance live stream. So I went. I shouldn't have gone. The karaoke place was quiet, too quiet. No music, no laughter, just silence. When I opened the door to room 7, I knew I'd made a mistake. There was no Nina, just Tiffany, and 3 older guys with tattoos. One of them locked the door behind me. Where's Nina, I asked, already reaching for my phone. One guy snatched it before I could even blink. Relax, Tiffany said, flipping her hair like we were at brunch. You made me look bad. Time to return the favor. I backed up. You're insane. She smirked. Insane's what they call girls who fight back. Then she nodded. The guy with the lip ring stepped forward. And I ran. I didn't make it far. They grabbed me, shoved me down, held my arms. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear her voice. You think you're better than me? Tiffany hissed. You think you're some angel because Mrs. Quinn likes you. Slap. You think Ryan actually loves you, slap. You're nothing. Another slap. My cheek burned. My ears rang. The room spun. And then the door slammed open. The door slammed open like a scene from a crime drama, standing there, breathing hard. Eyes wild was Ryan Quinn. His casted arm was half loosened. His shirt was wrinkled. He looked nothing like the ice-cold prince of school. He looked like a brother, a boyfriend, a man about to break someone's jaw. "What the hell are you doing?" he growled. The room froze. Even Tiffany backed up a step. How did you know I tracked her phone?" He didn't even glance at her. His eyes were on me, on the bruise forming on my cheek, on the torn strap of my bag. And just like that, he snapped, with one good arm. Ryan shoved one of the guys aside, grabbed me, pulled me behind him like a shield. "She's leaving. Now." The tattooed guy stepped forward. "I wouldn't," Ryan warned, voice low. "My family's lawyers are sharks, and I'm not afraid to bleed." The guy hesitated, and Ryan walked out with me. I didn't remember how we got to the hospital. I didn't remember what I said. I just remembered the white bed, the cold IV, the awful ringing in my ear. When I woke up, Ryan was slumped in a chair beside me, his arm now fully casted. "Are you okay?" I croaked. He looked up, startled, then instantly angry. "What were you thinking?" he snapped. Walking into that trap, I thought Nina was there. She wasn't. I know now. Ryan stood up, pacing. "You're the smartest person I know, and that was the dumbest thing you've ever done." I frowned. "You don't even know me?" He stopped, looked straight at me. "Yes, I do." Silence. Tension. Something unsaid hanging between us. He took a breath. "You're Haley. You chew gum when you're nervous. You tap your pen when you're lying. You pretend to hate pineapple pizza, but you eat the whole slice. You help your mom without telling anyone. Even when you're dead tired." I stared at him, and he added, "Quieter this time. And you always think you're not enough, when you're more than I deserve." I broke. Right there in that stupid hospital bed. I cried, not because of the bruises, not because of the fear, but because someone saw me. Really saw me. Tiffany Chu was gone. Not metaphorically, literally. Gone. After the karaoke ambush. Her name vanished from the school group chat. Her desk was cleared. Her Instagram went silent. Turns out, money couldn't fix everything. Not when your dad jumps off a building after a failed contract deal. Not when your reputation crumbles faster than a TikTok trend. Not when the girl you tried to humiliate walks out of the hospital with a broken cheekbone and a boyfriend who'd burned the city down for her. The police called it assault by coercion. Mrs. Quinn called it unfortunate. The school called it an isolated incident. I called it a damn victory. Not because I wanted Tiffany's life destroyed, but because for once someone stood up for me. Not out of pity. Not because they had to. Because they wanted to. And that changed everything. Ryan wasn't the same, either. He didn't smirk as much. Didn't tease me for my snack choices or my clumsy handwriting. He just looked at me. Like he was memorizing every version of me, the sarcastic me, the scared me, the pretending I'm fine me. And weirdly, I started looking back. Not just at him. At us. Then one afternoon, Liam poked his head into the room. "Hey, Haley." "Yeah, you like my brother, don't you?" I choked on my water. "Excuse me." He grinned. "It's okay. He likes you too." He talks in his sleep, Liam. Last night, he said, "Don't steal my girlfriend again." I didn't even have a girlfriend. Kinda rude. Don't you think I threw a pillow at his head? He dodged it with ninja-level reflexes. And Ryan, who had walked in just in time, asked with a deadpan face, "You're stealing my girlfriend now." "Not my fault." Liam shrugged. "She's cool. Get out," Ryan muttered. Liam winked and disappeared. Ryan looked at me. I looked at the ceiling. Smooth. That evening, Ryan and I sat on the rooftop of his house. It had fairy lights, a tiny old sofa, 2 mugs of overpriced hot chocolate. He didn't say much at first, just passed me a blanket, and waited. "So," I finally said, "about the whole Kiss in the Ferris wheel situation. He sipped his drink. I didn't hate it, he said. My eyes narrowed. That's your takeaway, would have preferred a second round. I rolled my eyes. Typical. Then silence again. The wind picked up. Ryan looked at me. Serious now. I know I'm not easy to deal with, he said quietly. I suck at talking. I act cold when I don't mean to. But I'm trying. Haley, I'm trying because it's you. I didn't expect that. Not from him. Not from the boy who once told me I breathed too loud. I looked down at my cup. Ryan, yeah. Don't say stuff like that unless you mean it. He leaned closer, resting his forehead against mine. I do mean it. I don't remember who leaned in first. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was me. But when our lips met again this time, slow, sure, and completely intentional, I knew we were no longer hiding behind screens or fake usernames or silent glances across the table. This time, it was real. The thing about secrets is they never stay secret, especially when your little brother has a big mouth. Guess what Liam shouted in the school cafeteria, grinning like he won the lottery? My brother and Haley kissed on our rooftop, forks dropped. Spoons froze. Even the vending machine seemed to stop mid-vend. I wanted to die. No, not die. Vaporize. Disappear. Get abducted by aliens. Anything but stand there while every cheerleader within 20 feet turned to glare at me like I'd just committed war crimes. Is it true? Nina gasped, dragging me behind the gym. I nodded, hiding my face in my hoodie. You kissed Ryan freaking Quinn twice, I muttered. Oh my God. Are you dating now? I don't know. You don't know, girl. This is not the time for ambiguity. By third period, someone had started a rumor that I was pregnant. By fifth period, the cheer captain gave me a warning look and said, stay in your lane. By sixth period, Mrs. Quinn called me to her office. I braced myself. Scandal, suspicion, disappointment. But instead, she smiled gently and said, would you prefer vanilla or chocolate cake for your engagement party? I choked. What? She winked. Just kidding. Kind of. That night. My mom noticed something too. You're smiling at your phone like a Disney princess, she said, flipping through a magazine. I'm texting a friend. You only smile like that when it's a boy. I said nothing. She looked at me, expression suddenly serious. Does he make you feel safe? That hit hard. Not is he rich or is he hot, just safe. Yes, I said quietly. He does, but just as I thought things were finally steady, reality hit back. Ryan stopped replying one evening. No goodnight text, no meme, no snarky sticker, nothing. I waited, and finally called Liam. Where's your brother? Liam hesitated. He's in a meeting with Grandpa. Grandpa, yeah, Liam whispered. He's the one who picks who inherits the company. He doesn't like you. My stomach dropped. I thought I was in a teen rom-com. Turns out, I was in an inheritance drama. You ever have one of those weeks where everything spins out of control, and all you can do is watch your life crash like a slow-motion train wreck? Yeah, that was me. And it all started with Liam. My brother kissed Haley on the rooftop he yelled in the cafeteria, in front of half the school and a full tray of chicken nuggets. At first, nobody reacted. Then forks stopped midair. Someone dropped their drink. One girl gasped so loudly I thought she was choking. And then, silence. You could hear the gossip engines revving up in every teenage head. I did what any rational girl would do. I grabbed Liam by the hoodie and dragged him out of there before we both got murdered by social politics. Why would you say that? He blinked. It's true, isn't it? That's not the point, so you're ashamed I'm trying not to die. Oh, my bad. By second period, rumors were flying faster than fire in a hayfield. By third, someone asked if Ryan and I were secretly married. By fourth, Someone posted an AI-generated baby photo of us in the group chat. I wish I was kidding. Ryan? He didn't even blink. He just walked next to me like nothing happened, hands in pockets, headphones in. Meanwhile, I was having an internal breakdown when I confronted him about it. He smirked. "You were going to keep me a secret forever." "Not forever," I hissed. "Just until graduation. Or the apocalypse. Whichever came first." Things really exploded when Tiffany's loyal minions started whispering again. She manipulated him. She's not even that pretty. I heard she tutors Liam just to get close to Ryan. And yeah, I tried to ignore it, until someone tripped me on the stairs. I went tumbling hard, and when I looked up, the girl standing at the top just smiled and said, "Oops." The old me would have cried in the bathroom. The new me, I got up, brushed myself off, and marched straight to Ryan's classroom. He was halfway through a pop quiz when I burst in. The teacher blinked. "Can I help you, No?" I said, walking straight to Ryan. "But he can help me." Ryan looked up. I yanked his desk toward me and kissed him. Right there, in front of the whole class. A few kids screamed. Someone dropped a pencil. One guy actually fainted. I pulled back and whispered, "Now it's public." Happy Ryan grinned like the smug jerk he was. Very, turns out. Making your relationship public in high school is like throwing a raw steak into a lion enclosure. The drama was instant. Tiffany's name started trending again, not because she was back, but because someone made a meme of her crying with the caption, "When your arch nemesis gets the guy in the grades." Even Liam became a micro-celebrity. "You're the brother of the couple." Some girl squealed. He blinked. "I'm what now, Ryan?" On the other hand, didn't care. He was too busy being the most annoyingly sweet boyfriend on earth. He walked me to class, waited by my locker, made sure I ate. And get this, started calling me by my real name in texts instead of babe. I think that's how I knew it was getting real. But of course, nothing good stays good forever. One night, I was waiting for Ryan's usual bedtime text. Nothing came. An hour passed, then 2. I texted him. No reply. Called Liam. No answer. By the time midnight rolled around, I was spiraling. What if Tiffany had come back? What if his family disapproved? What if, God forbid, he'd finally realized I wasn't worth it? The next morning, Liam cornered me at school. "Don't freak out. Too late. Ryan had a family meeting last night." I blinked. "Okay." "And with his grandfather." "Oh no." Liam leaned in. "His grandfather is the one who decides the family inheritance." I froze. "You mean the diamond vault, the company, the mansion, everything?" Liam nodded. "And he doesn't like you." I swallowed hard. "Why not?" "He says you're a distraction, and not from a family of our level." His words, not mine. That night, Ryan didn't text again. I couldn't take it. So I went to the Quinn's mansion and asked to see him. Mrs. Quinn looked apologetic. "He's resting. Is he okay?" She nodded. "He's just sorting things out." I stood there, feeling like I was 12 years old and uninvited to the popular girls' sleepover. I turned to leave. And then finally Ryan showed up. Shirt wrinkled, tie undone, eyes tired. But there, he looked at me like I was oxygen. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "You disappeared. I didn't want you to see what I'm like around him." I paused. "You mean your grandfather?" He nodded. "He's strict, and he wants me to break up with you." My stomach dropped. "Are you going to?" He looked at me like I'd insulted the sun. "No." "Then what are you going to do?" I told him I'd rather give up the inheritance than give up you. Silence. Then my voice barely a whisper. "That's insane." He smiled. I know, for a moment. I didn't know whether to slap him or kiss him. So I did the only rational thing. I punched his shoulder. "Idiot." He winced. "Worth it." We didn't break up. But things changed. People whispered more. Teachers looked at me differently. College counselors asked passive-aggressive questions like, "So, have you considered other options besides marrying rich and worst of all, my mom found out?" Not from me. From a video. Of the kiss. Posted by Liam. She wasn't angry. Just quiet. "I just want you to be safe," she said. "You always say that," I replied. Because it's always true. I didn't know what to say to that. So I hugged her instead. The next few weeks were a blur. Midterms, prom planning, Ryan getting into an Ivy League school, me getting accepted into my dream journalism program, and somehow us still holding on through it all. Then one day, Liam ran into the room holding a flyer. Guess what? What there's a couples championship at school, I blinked. A what obstacle race? Trivia? Dance-off. Last year, the winners got a trip to Paris. I laughed. So, Hunger Games High School Edition. Basically. Ryan walked in, took one look at the flyer, and said, "We're in." I raised an eyebrow. "We, you, and me. Team Chaos." "You sure you can survive a 3-legged race with me?" He smirked. "I've survived worse, like karaoke night." So we signed up, and we trained, and we fought, and we laughed, and somewhere between mud pits and math questions and mandatory slow dancing under fairy lights, I realized something. He wasn't just my boyfriend anymore. He was my person. We didn't win the championship. We came in second. But that night, under the stars, with our shoes soaked and our arms around each other, he whispered, "Second place isn't bad, as long as I'm first in your heart." I groaned. "You've been watching too many K-dramas." He kissed my forehead. "Only when you fall asleep on my lap." I didn't reply, just leaned into him. Because this was everything I never thought I deserved. And finally, I was ready to believe it was mine. I always thought endings were loud, explosive, dramatic, heartbreaking. Turns out, sometimes endings are quiet. My mom got discharged from the hospital on a Tuesday. No trumpets, no flowers, just a nurse saying, "You're free to go," and a doctor who clearly forgot my name. She didn't hug me when we got home. She just walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, and said, "Where's the juice I told you not to drink?" I smiled. She was back. Ryan helped us move. Well, he supervised while I carried boxes and pretended not to notice him sneaking snacks out of the kitchen. "You sure you don't need help?" he asked, sitting on the couch like a king. I dropped a box at his feet. "Carry this." He looked offended. "This is heavy. It's your fault for being rich and undertrained." He smirked. "Marry me and I'll hire you movers. Did you just propose in exchange for free labor?" "Yes." I rolled my eyes. "But my heart?" Yeah, it fluttered. Later that night, after my mom had fallen asleep watching her favorite drama, Ryan and I sat on my porch. No drama, no rumors, just the two of us. "You know," he said, tracing circles on my palm, "you're the only person who's ever said no to me." I snorted. "I say no to you daily." "Exactly. It's very humbling." I laughed. He didn't. Instead, he pulled out a small box, not a ring box, a necklace. Thin, silver, simple. "It's not fancy," he said. "But it's yours, like I am." I stared at it, then at him, then back at it. And just when I was about to make a joke, he leaned in and kissed me. No Ferris wheel, no fireworks, just us. And it was perfect. The next day, Ryan didn't come to school, nor the day after that. I texted. He replied late. Dry, short, finally. On the third day. I called Liam. He's with Grandpa again. He whispered, "They're talking about Harvard." My chest tightened. Harvard was far, like not in this state far. And Ryan hadn't said a word about it when I confronted him. He didn't deny it. "They're pushing me," he said. And I thought, if I didn't tell you, I wouldn't have to face it. Face what he looked away. That I might have to choose. I swallowed. Between Harvard and me, no. Between what they want and what I want. That scared me more. Because Ryan Quinn wasn't someone who wavered. He was steel. And even steel bends under the wrong pressure. We didn't talk for 3 days. 3 whole days. It felt like someone had pressed pause on my lungs. And then, just as suddenly, he showed up again. Not at school. Not at home. But on the rooftop where we kissed for the first time. He held a box. This time, it was a ring box. Before you freak out, he said, "It's not for marriage." I blinked. Then, "What?" "It's a promise. That no matter where I go, I'll come back. That no matter what happens, I'm yours." Inside was a simple gold ring. Delicate, barely a whisper. "Put it on my finger," he said, smirking. "So I don't get stolen at Harvard." I rolled my eyes. But my hands, they were already slipping it onto his pinky. Graduation came fast. Flashbulbs, speeches, ugly gowns. I gave the student address somehow, and Ryan sat in the front row with a sign that read, "That's my girlfriend." Liam made it. Mrs. Quinn made it. Even my mom cried. We didn't win valedictorian. We didn't need to. We had each other. Summer passed in a blur. Movies, ice cream, late-night phone calls. Plans, so many plans. And when the day came for Ryan to leave for Harvard, he hugged me for so long I thought we'd miss the flight. "You'll visit?" he asked. "Only if you still like me in a hoodie and stress acne." "I like you in every version," he said. "Even the one who yells at me when I forget to eat." I kissed him. He kissed me. And then he boarded the plane. The house felt quieter after that, but not empty. Because every day, at 10:17 p.m. sharp, my phone buzzed. "Ryan? Still mine. Me, still yours." A year passed. Then 2. College. Chaos, change. But through it all, we held on. Late-night Zooms, surprise visits, matching hoodies. Even when life pulled us in different directions, our hearts never wandered. And one spring morning, on a rooftop bathed in sunlight, he got down on one knee. This time it was marriage, and I said yes before he even finished the question, because sometimes the best love stories don't start with fireworks. They start with a text message and end with forever. You know how people always say, "It happened so fast. I didn't even have time to think." They're not lying. 1 second. I was crouched near the basketball court, minding my business, scrolling on my phone, while Nina drooled over some random guy on the court. The next, a loud shout. A shadow falling over me. And then black. No pain. No time to scream. Just nothing. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. Again. Figures. At this rate. They should give me a punch card, 10 visits, and the 11th one's free. My body ached all over. My head throbbed. My leg, forget it. Felt like someone had slammed a fridge door on it. I squinted at the bright ceiling lights, groaned, and turned my head. There he was, Ryan, sitting in a chair, dark circles under his eyes, hair messy. One hand still in a sling, the other rubbing his temple like he hadn't slept in days. His gaze snapped to me the second I stirred. "Haley," his voice tight, low, scared. I blinked, tried to sit up. "What happened?" "You got tackled. Some guy tripped mid-game, fell right on you. Sounds romantic," I croaked. He didn't laugh. Instead, he stood up, leaned in, and did something that stopped my heart. He reached for the blanket and gently pulled it down just a little, just enough to see my face. And then he froze. Like he'd seen a ghost. Like something clicked, he whispered. More to himself than to me. "It's you. What, you're her." I blinked. Her, who my online girlfriend. Silence. A different kind of silence. The kind that echoes. I opened my mouth to say something, anything, but no sound came out. His voice cracked. I didn't know. All this time, it was you. He sat back down, eyes still locked on me. I fell for you once. And I didn't even know it was the second time. I couldn't breathe. My brain couldn't process what was happening. We'd been together this whole time arguing, kissing, yelling, laughing, and he hadn't known. But he knew now. And suddenly, I felt bare, seen, like really seen. I looked down at my hands, fidgeting with the edge of the blanket. "You're not mad," he repeated, almost laughing. Mad would mean I regret it. He leaned in again. I don't. The rest of the day passed in a daze. Doctors came in, nurses checked vitals. Nina brought me flowers. Liam snuck in a bubble tea and got yelled at by security. But none of it mattered. Because when everyone left, and the room was quiet again, Ryan stayed. And that night, he curled up in the chair next to me, holding my hand gently like I'd disappear if he squeezed too hard, before I drifted off. I heard him whisper, "I told you I'd find you. And now I won't ever lose you again." People always ask, "How do you know it's real?" And the answer, you just do. You feel it when he brushes your hair away without saying a word. When he remembers the dumbest things you said at 2 a.m. When he looks at your bare, unfiltered face and still calls you beautiful. That's how I knew. After the hospital, everything changed. Ryan didn't call me babe anymore. He called me by my name. Haley. Like it mattered now more than ever. Like he wanted to say it every chance he got to make up for all the times he hadn't known it was me. Our story stopped being a secret. It became real. Public. Loud. Shameless. He'd hold my hand in the hallway. Text me during class. Send me photos of food he couldn't eat without me. The boy who once called me annoying in math class now refused to go to sleep without hearing my voice. Life had officially flipped. Mom got better. She finally moved back in with me and the doctor she used to flirt with. Nina got a boyfriend who was just as dramatic as she was. Match made in chaos. And Liam, he started a YouTube channel. Called it My Brother's Hot Girlfriend Said I Could. Yeah, we're working on that. Then came graduation. I didn't cry. Ryan didn't either. But when he hugged me on stage, one hand holding a diploma, the other holding mine, I knew something else was coming. Something bigger. He proposed 2 months later. No Ferris wheel this time. No hospital. No rooftop. Just a room, a song playing quietly, and a boy kneeling with a ring. He said, "I told you I wouldn't lose you again." Now I'm making it official. The wedding wasn't huge. Just family, friends, people who saw us crash and burn and rebuild anyway. Nina cried the loudest. Liam live-streamed the whole thing, with Ryan's disapproving glare in the background. And me, I stood there in a dress I borrowed, with my hands shaking and my heart racing, wondering how I ever got this lucky. Then the vows. Ryan held my hands, looked me straight in the eye, and said, "Haley, if my life were a poem." My breath caught. "You would be the first page." He smiled, and every day after would be the words I wrote because you existed. I cried. Of course I cried. So did everyone else, even his grandpa, who finally admitted, "Well, she's not that bad." Now, we live in a small apartment with a leaky faucet and too many plants. We burn pancakes every Sunday. We argue over movie genres. We kiss during laundry. And every single night before we fall asleep, he wraps his arm around me, leans in close, and says, "You're still my favorite plot twist." Because some stories start with drama, some with a kiss, and some with a text message from a boy who turned out to be everything I never knew I needed.